Have you ever gone to bed hoping for a full night of rest, only to find yourself wide awake at 2 or 3 in the morning, walking to the bathroom again, wondering why this keeps happening? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But here's something most people don't realize. Waking up at night to urinate isn't just an annoying part of getting older. It can actually be an early warning sign that something deeper inside your body is out of balance, and if it continues night after night, it can quietly damage your sleep, drain your energy during the day, and even place extra strain on your heart and kidneys over time. I'm Dr. Johnny, and after working with thousands of older patients, I've seen how this single nighttime habit, getting up again and again to use the bathroom, slowly erodes a person's health without them ever connecting the dots. Many people think the solution is simple: drink less water before bed, take a sleeping pill, or just accept it as part of aging. But the truth is, those approaches often ignore the real cause. Because what wakes you up at night isn't always your bladder. Sometimes it's your hormones, sometimes your nervous system, sometimes even your blood pressure quietly shifting while you sleep. And this is where things get interesting. What if one of the simplest ways to calm your bladder, support your sleep hormones, and reduce those frustrating midnight bathroom trips was something most people already have in their kitchen, but almost everyone is using the wrong way? Tonight, I'm going to show you how a simple banana eaten at the right time and in the right way may help your body relax, stabilize your nighttime chemistry, and finally allow you to sleep through the night again. But to understand why that works, we first need to uncover what's really happening inside your body when you wake up to pee in the middle of the night. And the answer might surprise you. Before we talk about bananas, we need to understand something much more important. Because if you're waking up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom, the real problem usually isn't just your bladder. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever gone to bed feeling completely fine, only to find yourself suddenly wide awake in the middle of the night with that uncomfortable pressure telling you that you need to go? Right now, many people assume it's simply because they drank too much water before bed. That's what most of my patients used to believe too. But in reality, nighttime urination, what doctors call nocturia, often begins with a hidden shift inside the body that happens as we age. One of the biggest changes involves a hormone most people have never even heard of. It's called ADH, short for antidiuretic hormone. During a healthy night of sleep, this hormone tells your kidneys to slow down urine production. In other words, it helps your body hold on to fluid so your bladder can stay relaxed until morning. When we're younger, this system works beautifully. Your body naturally produces enough ADH to keep nighttime urine production low, which is why most people in their 20s or 30s can sleep straight through the night without ever thinking about the bathroom. But after the age of 60, something subtle begins to happen. The body starts producing less of this hormone, and when ADH levels drop, your kidneys don't get the signal to slow down anymore. They keep filtering fluid almost as if it were still daytime. The result? Your bladder begins filling much faster while you sleep. Suddenly at 2 in the morning, your brain receives a signal that says, "Wake up now," not because you're fully rested, but because your bladder is reaching its limit. Researchers estimate that more than 70% of adults over 60 wake up at least twice every night to urinate. And here's the part that surprises many people. Those repeated sleep interruptions don't just make you tired the next day. Studies from sleep medicine clinics show that fragmented sleep can increase daytime fatigue, reduce memory performance, and even raise long-term cardiovascular risk. I remember one patient in particular, a 67-year-old man named Robert. He told me he hadn't slept through the night in nearly 5 years. Every night was the same pattern: midnight, then again around 3 in the morning. He thought it was simply a normal part of aging. But when we looked deeper, it wasn't just aging. His body had quietly lost the nighttime hormone balance that once protected his sleep. But hormones are only part of the story, because even when the bladder isn't completely full, many people still feel an urgent need to urinate at night. And that's where another hidden factor comes in: the sensitivity of the bladder itself. Inside your bladder wall is a muscle called the detrusor muscle. This muscle expands as the bladder fills and contracts when it's time to empty. Normally, it works smoothly and calmly, but when the nerves around it become irritated or overly sensitive, the muscle can start sending false alarms. That means even a small amount of urine can trigger the urge to go. Inflammation, mild infections, digestive issues like constipation, and even stress in the nervous system can make those pelvic nerves more reactive. Instead of waiting until the bladder is truly full, the brain gets an early warning signal that feels urgent. And there's one more factor that often surprises people. Blood pressure doesn't always drop at night the way it should. In some individuals, especially those with metabolic issues, blood pressure actually rises while they sleep, a pattern doctors call reverse dipping. When that happens, the kidneys respond by filtering more fluid, which produces more urine. So suddenly several things are happening at once. Hormones are shifting, nerves are becoming more sensitive, and the kidneys are working harder during the night. And all of it leads to the same frustrating result, another trip to the bathroom while the rest of the world is asleep. But here's where things start to get interesting. Because once we understand why the body's waking you up at night, we can begin supporting those systems in a much more natural way. And surprisingly, one of the most helpful tools doesn't come from a pharmacy at all. It comes from a simple fruit that millions of people already eat every day. Yet very few realize how powerful it can be when used the right way. But knowing why nighttime urination happens is only the first piece of the puzzle, because the next thing we're about to talk about might completely change the way you look at a banana before bedtime. Now that we understand why the body keeps waking you up at night, the next question becomes much more interesting. Can something as simple as food help calm the system down? And surprisingly, one of the most overlooked foods for nighttime bladder support is something millions of people already eat almost every day: the banana. Most people think of bananas as just a quick snack or a source of potassium for muscle cramps. But when you look closer at the nutritional science, bananas are actually what many nutritionists call a functional food. That means they don't just provide calories, they actively support certain biological systems in the body. And in this case, the systems that bananas influence are directly connected to sleep, nerve stability, and bladder relaxation. Let's start with one of the most important minerals inside a banana: potassium. Potassium plays a critical role in regulating muscle contractions throughout the body. That includes the smooth muscles of your blood vessels, your digestive tract, and most importantly for our discussion tonight, the muscles that control your bladder. When potassium levels are balanced, these muscles contract and relax smoothly. But when potassium levels drop, those same muscles can become more irritable and prone to sudden contractions. In other words, a potassium deficiency can make the bladder more reactive, which increases the chance of those sudden nighttime urges to urinate. But bananas offer more than just potassium. They're also a natural source of magnesium, another mineral that becomes increasingly important as we age. Magnesium helps calm the nervous system and relax muscle tissue. It works almost like a natural brake pedal for nerve signals. When magnesium levels are low, the nerves around the bladder can become overactive, sending premature signals to the brain that say, "Wake up, you need to go." And this combination, potassium stabilizing the muscles and magnesium calming the nerves, creates an environment where the bladder is far less likely to overreact during the night. I once had a patient named Linda, a 64-year-old retired nurse who struggled with exactly this issue. She woke up almost every night around 2:30 a.m., sometimes again at 4 a.m. She had already tried drinking less water in the evening, but nothing changed. When we reviewed her diet, we discovered something interesting. She was barely getting enough magnesium or potassium during the day. After making a few simple adjustments, including adding a banana in the evening, she noticed something surprising. Within a few weeks, those nightly bathroom trips began to decrease. Now, of course, bananas are not a magic pill, but they provide something the body quietly needs for nighttime stability. And there's another fascinating reason bananas may support better sleep, something that connects directly to your brain. Bananas contain an amino acid called tryptophan. You might have heard that name before because tryptophan is a precursor to serotonin, which the body later converts into melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating your sleep cycle. But here's the detail: most people miss this conversion process requires vitamin B6 to work efficiently. And bananas happen to contain both tryptophan and vitamin B6 in the same food. This means that, when eaten at the right time, bananas may help support the natural biochemical pathway that prepares your brain for sleep. Instead of forcing sleep the way medications do, they gently support the body's own rhythm. In fact, nutritional research published in sleep health journals has shown that diets rich in magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins are associated with improved sleep efficiency and fewer nighttime awakenings. And that's exactly the kind of stability we want if the goal is to sleep through the night without repeated bathroom trips. But there's still another layer to this story that many people overlook, and it involves your gut. Bananas contain a special type of fiber known as resistant starch. Unlike regular carbohydrates, resistant starch isn't fully digested in the small intestine. Instead, it travels to the colon, where it feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Why does this matter? Because a healthy gut microbiome helps regulate inflammation throughout the body, including the pelvic nerves that influence bladder sensitivity. When those nerves are calmer and inflammation is lower, the bladder is less likely to send false alarm signals during sleep. So when you look at the bigger picture, bananas support multiple systems at once: muscle relaxation, nerve stability, sleep hormone production, and gut health. All of these factors can contribute to a calmer bladder and deeper sleep. But here's the part that surprises many people. Even though bananas contain all these helpful nutrients, most people unknowingly eat them in a way that actually cancels out these benefits. And in some cases, it can even make nighttime urination worse instead of better. But knowing that bananas can help is only half the story, because the way most people eat them before bed might be doing the exact opposite of what they expect. Now, this is where things start to take an unexpected turn, because even though bananas contain nutrients that can support better sleep and a calmer bladder, many people unknowingly eat them in a way that completely cancels out those benefits. In fact, some of the most common nighttime banana habits can actually make nighttime urination worse. The first mistake is eating bananas too late at night. It sounds harmless after all, it's just fruit. But the timing matters more than most people realize. As we age, the digestive system naturally slows down. Food stays in the stomach longer, and the body becomes more sensitive to late evening meals. When a banana is eaten right before bed, it doesn't always have time to digest properly. Instead of smoothly supporting sleep hormones and mineral absorption, it can begin fermenting slowly in the stomach. That fermentation process can lead to mild bloating or abdominal pressure. And when pressure builds in the digestive tract, it can physically press against the bladder area. This subtle pressure sometimes triggers the exact urge people are trying to avoid, waking up in the middle of the night to urinate. I remember speaking with a patient named Carol, a 70-year-old grandmother, who thought she had discovered the perfect sleep snack. Every night around 10:30 p.m., she ate a banana right before climbing into bed. But the strange thing was, she still woke up around 2 a.m. almost every night. When we moved that banana to earlier in the evening, something interesting happened. Within 2 weeks, those nighttime bathroom trips began to decrease. Timing, it turns out, matters more than people expect. The second mistake involves choosing bananas that are too ripe. You've probably seen them, the soft bananas with dark brown spots covering the peel. Many people prefer them because they're sweeter and easier to chew. But from a metabolic perspective, those overripe bananas behave very differently inside the body. As bananas ripen the resistant starch, they gradually converts into simple sugars like glucose and fructose. That means the riper the banana becomes, the faster it can raise blood sugar levels. When blood sugar spikes late in the evening, the body often responds by releasing insulin and adjusting fluid balance. This process can stimulate the kidneys to filter more fluid, which ultimately produces more urine during the night. In other words, a banana that's too ripe may quietly trigger the very bladder activity you're trying to prevent. Researchers studying nighttime metabolism have observed that rapid fluctuations in blood glucose can increase nighttime awakenings, especially in adults over 60. That's why the type of banana and its stage of ripeness can make a surprising difference. The third mistake is something many people don't even think about: adding sugary toppings. A sliced banana with honey chocolate syrup or sweetened yogurt might taste delicious, but it changes the entire metabolic response of the snack. Added sugars amplify the blood sugar spike, which increases insulin activity and can stimulate the kidneys to process more fluid. This is one of the reasons why so many people say, "I tried eating fruit before bed, and it didn't help." The fruit itself wasn't the problem, the way it was prepared was. And then there's another habit that seems healthy, but can quietly sabotage your sleep: drinking too much water after eating the banana. Many older adults have heard that bananas can cause constipation, so they automatically drink a large glass of water afterward. But when that happens late in the evening, the bladder becomes full right when the body is trying to enter deep sleep. Instead of helping you sleep longer, the body now has to deal with excess fluid that needs to be filtered overnight. So what we see again and again is this pattern: people are eating a healthy food, but the timing, ripeness, and combination of that food are working against them. And once you understand these small but powerful mistakes, the next question naturally becomes, what is the right way to eat a banana so it actually supports sleep instead of disrupting it? Because the difference between waking up 3 times a night and sleeping peacefully until morning may come down to one surprisingly simple adjustment. But knowing the mistakes is only the beginning, because the exact way you eat a banana before bed may determine whether it helps your bladder relax or quietly makes the problem worse. So once we understand the mistakes that can sabotage the benefits of bananas at night, the next question becomes the one everyone really wants answered. What is the right way to eat a banana so it actually helps you sleep through the night instead of waking up to the bathroom? Because here's the truth many people miss. It's not just what you eat before bed. It's when you eat it, the condition of the food and how your body processes it that determine whether it helps or harms your sleep. Let's start with the most important factor, timing. The ideal time to eat a banana in the evening is about 60 to 90 minutes before bedtime. This window gives your body enough time to begin digesting the banana and absorbing its key nutrients, potassium, magnesium, and vitamin B6. At the same time, it allows your brain to begin converting tryptophan into serotonin and eventually melatonin, the hormone that prepares your body for deep sleep. If you eat the banana too early, those nutrients may already be processed before your body transitions into sleep mode. But if you eat it too late, right before lying down, the digestive process may interfere with the body's natural sleep rhythm. Think of it almost like setting a timer for your nervous system. When the timing is right, the body gradually shifts from daytime activity into nighttime repair mode. I once worked with a patient named Michael, a 65-year-old former truck driver who struggled with interrupted sleep for nearly a decade. He had tried everything: cutting fluids, herbal teas, even sleep supplements. But nothing seemed to stop those nightly trips to the bathroom. When we looked closely at his evening routine, we noticed that he usually ate a large snack right before bed. We made one simple adjustment: a small portion of banana about an hour before bedtime instead of late-night snacking. Within a few weeks, something changed. He told me he was finally sleeping through the night more often than not. Sometimes small changes create surprisingly powerful results. Now let's talk about the second important factor, the ripeness of the banana. The best choice is a banana that is fully yellow, with just a few light brown freckles but not overly soft or heavily spotted. At this stage, the banana still contains a healthy balance of resistant starch and natural sugars. That balance helps provide slow, steady energy without triggering a sudden spike in blood sugar. If the banana becomes too ripe, those very soft bananas with dark patches, the starch has mostly converted into simple sugars. That can lead to quicker glucose absorption, which may interfere with stable nighttime metabolism. Nutritional studies on sleep quality consistently show that stable blood sugar levels are one of the key factors for uninterrupted sleep, especially in adults over 50. When blood sugar remains steady, the body is far less likely to trigger hormonal responses that wake you up during the night. The third factor is something surprisingly simple but very powerful: how you combine the banana with other foods. Eating a banana completely alone isn't necessarily harmful, but pairing it with a small amount of protein or healthy fat can help stabilize the body's metabolic response. This slows down the digestion of natural sugars and provides additional nutrients that support sleep regulation. One of the easiest combinations is what some nutritionists call a banana sleep bowl. Take half a banana and slice it into a small bowl. Add 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, which are rich in magnesium and omega-3 fatty acids. Then mix in 2 tablespoons of plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. If you want a little extra support for blood sugar stability, sprinkle a small pinch of cinnamon on top. This simple combination works on multiple levels at once. The banana provides potassium and tryptophan. The yogurt adds protein and calcium, which play roles in melatonin production. The chia seeds contribute fiber and magnesium, helping relax the nervous system and muscles. Together, these nutrients create a light but powerful evening snack that supports both sleep chemistry and bladder stability. Some people prefer something colder or easier to drink. In that case, a small banana smoothie can work just as well. Blend half a banana with unsweetened almond milk and a pinch of cinnamon. The key is keeping the portion small and avoiding added sugars like honey or flavored syrups. What matters most is that the snack remains light, balanced, and easy for the body to process before sleep. Sleep specialists often emphasize that large meals late at night can disrupt the body's circadian rhythm. But a small, nutrient-dense snack can sometimes do the opposite. It can help guide the body gently into deeper rest. So when the timing is right, the banana is ripe but not overly sweet, and it's paired with the right supporting nutrients, you create the conditions that help the body relax, its nervous system, stabilize metabolism, and reduce those unnecessary bladder signals that wake you up. But here's something important many people overlook. Even if you eat the banana perfectly, certain evening habits can still cancel out all these benefits. And some of those habits are surprisingly common in households across America tonight. But knowing the right way to eat a banana before bed is still only part of the solution, because there's another hidden factor that can quietly sabotage your sleep even when your diet is perfect. Even when someone eats a banana the right way at the right time, with the right ripeness and in the right portion, there is still one final piece of the puzzle that many people completely overlook. And this is the reason why some people say, "I tried everything, and I still wake up at night to pee." Because sometimes the real problem isn't the banana at all. It's the evening habits that quietly cancel out its benefits. Let's start with the most common one, drinking too much fluid late at night. Many people have been told for years that staying hydrated is the key to good health, and that advice is absolutely true during the daytime. But what most people don't realize is that your kidneys don't stop working just because you went to bed. If you're still drinking large glasses of water, tea, or even soup after 8 p.m., your body still has to process that fluid. And when your kidneys filter it, it ends up in exactly one place, your bladder. I once spoke with a patient named Harold, a 72-year-old man who insisted he had done everything right. He avoided caffeine, ate light dinners, and even tried the banana routine we discussed earlier. Yet he was still waking up every night around 3 a.m. When we reviewed his evening routine, the answer appeared almost immediately. Every night before bed, he drank 2 full glasses of water because he had read online that hydration was important for kidney health. Ironically, that healthy habit was filling his bladder just as his body was trying to enter deep sleep. Once he moved most of his hydration earlier in the day and reduced fluids after dinner, those nighttime trips dropped dramatically within a few weeks. And Harold's situation isn't unusual. Sleep researchers estimate that late evening fluid intake is one of the top triggers of nocturia in older adults. But fluids aren't the only hidden culprit. Another surprisingly powerful factor is sodium. Salty foods at dinner, things like processed sauces, chips, deli meats, or heavily seasoned meals can cause your body to retain extra fluid. During the night, the kidneys work to rebalance sodium levels in the bloodstream. When they do that, they often release the excess fluid through urine production. That means a salty dinner at 7 p.m. can quietly lead to a full bladder at 2 a.m. There's also something many people never connect to bladder health screen exposure before bed. Phones, tablets, and televisions emit blue light that suppresses melatonin production in the brain. When melatonin drops, sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. And when sleep becomes lighter, the brain becomes much more sensitive to internal signals, like the mild pressure of a partially filled bladder. In other words, the bladder signal may not be stronger, but your brain becomes more likely to wake up because of it. Then there's another hidden factor that doctors are paying more attention to in recent years: stress and nervous system activation. When the body remains in a state of mental tension late in the evening, watching intense news, worrying about finances, scrolling social media, the brain continues releasing small amounts of adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones keep the nervous system alert, and an alert nervous system makes the bladder more reactive. Even a small amount of urine can suddenly feel urgent. That's why creating a calm evening routine matters just as much as what you eat. Simple habits like dimming lights, limiting screen exposure, and allowing the body to relax can help your nervous system shift into what scientists call the parasympathetic state, the body's natural mode for rest and repair. When that system activates muscles, relax digestion, stabilizes, and bladder sensitivity often decreases. And when all these elements come together, balanced nutrients, proper timing of food, controlled fluid intake, and a calmer evening routine, the body finally gets the message it has been waiting for all night. It's safe to rest. And when the body feels safe to rest, the bladder usually stops interrupting your sleep. Because the truth is, nighttime urination is rarely caused by just one thing. It's the result of multiple small signals inside the body happening at the same time. When you correct those signals, even with simple habits, the difference can be remarkable. But here's the most surprising part of all. Some doctors are beginning to believe that nighttime urination is not just a sleep problem. It may actually be an early signal that the body's internal balance is beginning to shift with age. And once you understand that, you realize something powerful. Sometimes the solution isn't stronger medication. Sometimes it's simply learning how to support the body's natural rhythms again, starting with something as simple as the foods and habits we choose each evening. So if you've been waking up night after night to use the bathroom, I want you to remember something important. This is not just something you have to accept as part of getting older. In many cases, your body is simply asking for better balance, better sleep rhythms, better mineral support, and healthier evening habits. Small changes can make a bigger difference than most people expect. Something as simple as adjusting when you eat, choosing the right foods before bed, or calming your evening routine can help your bladder relax and allow your body to rest the way it was designed to. Tonight, try one small experiment. Give your body the nutrients it needs, allow yourself a calm hour before bed, and see how your sleep responds. Because better sleep is not just about feeling rested in the morning, it supports your brain, your heart, and especially your kidneys, which work quietly every night to keep your body in balance. If you found this video helpful, I encourage you to save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder about these simple habits. And if you care about protecting your kidneys, improving your sleep, and learning science-based ways to stay healthy as you age, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here we share practical medical insights and easy lifestyle strategies that can help you take better care of your kidney health and your overall well-being. And if nighttime urination has been something you struggle with, I'd also love to hear from you. Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else realize they're not alone, and that small changes can lead to real improvements. Because the truth is, the body has an incredible ability to restore balance when we give it the right support. Sometimes the path to better health doesn't start with complicated treatments. Sometimes it begins with understanding your body a little better and taking one small step tonight toward deeper sleep, healthier kidneys, and a stronger, more energized tomorrow.